Hey there, it's Julie Tam, managing broker of LYN Realty in Houston, and you're watching Smarter Real Estate weekly on Wednesdays. Ah, look at that gorgeous toilet paper holder for the Toto bidet in the primary bath, our bathroom in our new home. You are watching my series, Building My Dream Home, and we've got a lot of progress to show you today, focusing primarily on hardware and glass. But also some other updates that have happened since then with the trim and some lights and exciting things. When I talk about hardware, I am talking about door handles and door hinges, the door stops, and also the hardware on the shower doors. And then when we talk about glass, we're talking about glass for the cabinets, the shower doors, and also the mirrors. So very exciting stuff. And here we are, beginning in the primary bathroom. You can see the gorgeous mirror that's now been installed in the middle of this frame that still needs to be painted. It's not quite finished. And then the lights now are installed in the mirrors. This bulb is out, but you can see them spaced out and how it illuminates the entire area at this vanity. This is my side. You see the towel ring. It's not really a ring, a circular ring. It's a more of a square ring, but this is the same line, Brizo, that matches with the plumbing fixtures in this bathroom, and you can see the same towel ring and the lights, two lights, because that mirror is smaller. This is a not as wide of a vanity on the other side, which is his vanity. And then the shower door, you can see, oh, just beautiful. Glass frameless, which means you don't have any sort of metal frame around the glass. There is this rubber gasket that's here, a trim piece that keeps the water from coming out through that gap there. And then if you'll notice, the door handle is here, plus the little pieces, the little square pieces that keep the glass together and fixed against the tile. These are all in brushed nickel. Now, why this color choice? Well, here were kind of the three options we were considering, either gold, brushed nickel, or black. So gold would be the color for the plumbing fixture, so ideally you would match that. Well, unfortunately, there's no exact color match of the gold. Gold comes in different shades. You'll even see in this very home, there's different shades of gold, which is okay when you have them in different rooms, but in the same space, you want them to be the same shade. Some gold like this is a little bit more rose gold. There's gold that's going to be a little bit more yellow, and then gold that's going to be a richer, darker gold. And so since we said, gold's not going to work, black was another option to match the door handles, okay? The hardware, as you can see on the doors, but then that would be a little bit more obvious and it would just look more like checkers, just like black, black, black. And so we thought the brushed nickel would look nice because it actually ties in with the color in the tile that has some gold and some silverish gray tones, plus the edge protector is a similar color. And actually your eyes help to make it match better than if you were just like literally taking the brushed nickel against the gold going, oh, these are different colors. When I first walked in here and I looked, I thought, oh, it looks great. It's the same color. But actually it's not. The shower head is not brushed nickel. It is gold. But your eyes can kind of just trick you and make you think that it's actually the same. So it blends in really nicely. Brushed nickel also, because it's not a very bright, obvious color, it helps things kind of fade into the background. And so it works in a case like this. Let's go into the closet where the hanging rods have been installed, black to match the black hardware, and the shelves have been installed up here. I wanted to tell you about these cabinets. This is not installed yet, so we'll show you later when they are, but originally the plan was to have one shelf going across the middle here, but then can you imagine, that's not very convenient. When you place things on top and below the shelf, the stack is going to be quite tall, meaning if you're trying to get to something that's in the middle of the stack or the bottom, you're having to sift through everything on top to get to it. And then the bottom, this is literally what it's going to look like. Squatting down, bending in there, trying to get everything, can't even barely see back there, and also think about it. The depth of this is the depth of this, right? So if you're folding like underwear or pajamas or anything, you're probably not going to necessarily fold it this long way to be able to take up the entire depth. So you would have a stack in front and stack in back. The stack in back you'll never see and you'll never use. So not really the best solution. So what we decided to do is have our trim carpenter install 3 rows of basically pull out drawers that are kind of like trays. So boom, boom, boom. So even the bottom one, even though you have to bend down, you at least can pull it out so you can see everything out here. You just bend over and get stuff. You don't have to squat and just contort your body to go in there. So it's a much better solution. All right, let's go ahead and come out here. I want to show you door stops. These are details that you often don't think about, okay? People get excited about selecting countertops and flooring and paint colors and things like that. They're not excited about selecting door stops, but door stops are very important. Look down here. These are your standard door stops. Actually, this one's missing the little rubber tip, but this is a door stop that goes into the baseboard. And for a standard door, standard space like this, they're just fine, okay? So the door stops are there. But I'll show you a different type of door stop in a minute when we go out, where that would be more preferred for that particular location. You can also see the hardware has been installed. These are dummies. They don't move because this is a set of closet doors that don't lock. And so there's no need for you to be able to move the levers. And so they're fixed. But in other doors, like this one, oh no, this is fixed on the inside. Just kidding. I'll show you another one. But yeah, this you can lock by pushing in this pin here, okay? And then unlock by turning the lever. So actually this is the lever that moves. This one is fixed because this door does not lock. And so for this handle, we've actually picked one where it's not super sharp at the edges or the corners. It is slightly rounded, but it still looks like a 90-degree angle. So it feels better on your hands than the ones that are super sharp, would you say? And then this is a rectangular rosette. The rosette is this piece that goes into the door, which looks nice because we have a lot of kind of more angular things. And then as you can see, the door hinges, they were installed and then now painted white to just blend in to the trim and the white paint. Now look up there, that is an example of what's called a hinge stop. So the door stop installed in the hinge. And so in some cases that is preferred because you don't necessarily want the doors to swing past a certain point, okay? If you need to put a piece of furniture here, for example, and you don't want the door to hit it, that would be an option there. I'll show you another place where for a different reason you would install that. Hinge stops cost just a little bit more than the door stops in the baseboard. I don't remember the exact difference, but I want to say it was like maybe about $1, give or take. One is like $2 or $3, the other one's like $4 or $5, something like that. And of course, there's a range of prices depending on the exact type of door stop that you would order. Ours may have cost even more than that. I don't remember. Okay, and then look at this. This is another detail you may not think about. This is the latch. Here, it's solid brass. It's gold. It actually looks really beautiful. At first, when we saw it, though, we kind of were like, oh, it draws attention to itself. We don't want attention drawn to the door latch. That's not a design element. So we'd rather have it be dark, like black or some sort of metal that blends more in with the door hardware. But actually, this is what is currently preferred, especially in higher end homes. So we said, okay, fine. All right, so let's come out here and go through the bedrooms, secondary bedrooms. This is bedroom 4. In a previous video, I think I forgot to point out the ceiling fans in the second bedroom. This one is running. And it's the same in all the 3 secondary bedrooms. We didn't feel like there was a need to make a different one, for each room. That's just excessive, right? Sometimes too much variety is actually not good. And so yes, there's that. The cleaning crew is actually cleaning up the house right now. We're gonna just squeeze through. They're doing that because that way we can actually see once the dust is off, the blemishes that are left behind and any discolorations in the paint and things like that to be able to correct those things. Okay, so actually, as you're standing in that doorway, you will take a look at these 2 robe hooks that are placed here. Oh, I forgot to talk about the robe hook in the primary bath. That's okay. So in certain situations, you actually prefer to have these rather than a towel rod. That may not always work. There is a towel rod actually, though, installed in the water closet of the bathroom where you have the tub shower and the toilet. But yes, the robe hooks, the placement of them are symmetrical in the doorway. I think one of them is a little bit higher than the other. They've got to fix that. There's little corrections that still need to be made. But yes, they're hanging there. They're a little tall for a kid's bath, but I guess if you have a really long robe, you can hang it and, it'll definitely clear the floor. Another thing I want to show you is actually, I don't know if it's easier to see from this side, but look at the cabinet pulls. Those are installed now. But one issue we faced was with the drawers. So these cabinet pulls come in different sizes, different lengths, okay? And so when you go to install it, you want to make sure that you drill in and the holes, actually, they come through the middle here, not through here. This particular pull, the size that would have actually been the right size design-wise for this drawer, would have put the holes right into this part. That doesn't work. So we actually had to return those and replace them. An option would have been to get the 3 and I think it's like 1/16 or something, basically over 3 inches wide on the poles, but it would work, but it may look a little silly. So we decided to go with a knob, and it's kind of a more square knob from the same line, same collection as these poles to make it look better and function better. Typically with the poles, you want to do a size that's about a third of the width of the entire cabinet, maybe specifically looking at this center part, not the trim. That's kind of your ideal, unless there's a different reason where you want to make it bigger or smaller for an aesthetic purpose or for a functional purpose, which I'll go over in the kitchen. Take a look here. The mirrors are in. You've got the lights against on the mirror. And then, of course, more bath accessories here with the towel ring. The placement of the light is key. You want to have it at the right height to where the light emanates, bounces off the walls, produces a good amount of light, and also is at a good height that makes sense, so it's not blocking too much of the mirror. All right, so let's wind our way through. Here's where I make my big announcement. This is what used to be what we had planned to have as the playroom for Shay. Well, we actually have a second baby on the way, due early 2024. I will be 42 years old, so definitely very thankful for that. And so this will be their room. And so Shay will be sharing the bathroom in between. And then we've converted the guest room. The plan is to have that be guest/playroom. All right. This is the balcony. I want to point out something, a decision point that we had with these two doors here. So these doors could swing out like this to the balcony, or they could swing into each bedroom. We decided to keep it this way in order to maximize the space we have in the bedrooms. But if you have them out like this, it doesn't look so good. If you have, say, pieces of art on the wall behind, the doors would be blocking those. And so the goal would be to try to keep these doors closed as much as possible, so that way it doesn't block whatever would be on the walls behind them. Okay, so coming through here to the guest/playroom, we'll wind our way through to take a look at the guest bath, where you can step in and see that a lot of stuff has been installed in here. The mirror with the light bar, and then, of course, the shower door and glass all around the shower. This one actually had matching hardware for the shower door handle and the hinges and the other little hardware pieces on it, which is in the polished nickel, which is high glossy, bright, shiny, very pretty, as opposed to the brushed nickel, which is a brushed matte finish. So that's looking really nice. Nothing really significantly changed about the laundry room or this game room closet, but I want to come over here and show you that this door, for example, which is our audiovisual AV closet, we decided to put the door hinge, the hinge stop on the door, because this is such a prominent location. If you have a door stop in the baseboard just sticking out, it's a little bit of an eyesore. And so putting it there just kind of hides it, makes it not as obvious. People aren't usually looking at the hinge part, even though that does stick out a little bit. Significant change in the game room. We have this wonderful, glorious set of 3 mirrors here, because this is going to be a workout/ballet studio for us. And of course, the frame around, they're going to be painting it the same white color as the paint itself on the walls. And of course, they have made the outlet cover mirrored as well to blend in there. So instead of the white outlet covers that you see that blend in with the white walls. Okay, we have a special layer behind the mirrors that makes it even safer than it already is. So with these mirrors, typically if someone were to hit it and it shatters, it should just crack, but the pieces should not fall off and cut someone. That's a safety thing. But this extra layer behind that we paid a few $100 for makes it even more solid and less likely for the pieces to come off and stab whoever broke it. All right, and so with little kids, that was the smarter thing to do. Let's head downstairs. We're doing this video in reverse. Typically, I stand, at the front door and you see the outside of the house, and then we come in. But I decided, you know what? I'm tired of doing it in that order. Let's just change it up and go backward. All right, so we'll come through here. The dining room, there's not really any change since last time, but if you look in the foyer, the chandelier has been installed, but it's actually backward or upside down. The smaller ring on top is supposed to be actually on the bottom, whereas the larger ring on the bottom should be on top. So they've got to fix that. So, these types of things just happen in the course of construction. So little errors just need to be corrected. All right, so let's come through to the wet bar and butler's pantry where you can see the cabinet poles have been installed. Now, one little error here. This pole actually goes here, which they did put here. And then I don't know why someone just had a second thought and transferred it here. Because this is actually supposed to have a big, long 18-inch appliance pole from Top Knobs, as you can see, totally different size. So they're going to have to fill in the holes there with like Bondi or putty, some sort of caulking, whatever, and paint it over. But yes, the front panel is already installed in front of this beverage fridge, and it looks really nice because you know what? Now all these tricorn black, that's a Sherwin-Williams paint color for these cabinets, it just blends right in. You don't have a stainless steel appliance, though that could look nice too. But this is a really nice look. Just look at this black, very handsome, very elegant butler's pantry bar. And you can see the glass cabinet fronts have been installed in the uppers here. And we can see the difference in sizes. You see this drawer is quite wide, so we have a longer pole. And these cabinets are not the tall upper cabinets, so then these are shorter. The poles are longer for the taller upper cabinet. So things have to be proportional to the size, okay? All right, in the kitchen, you can also see these beautiful gold poles throughout that have been installed. And if you peek into the pantry, the shelves have been put in there. So that is now more finished looking. And then, there are certain functional reasons I mentioned that I was going to talk about once I came to the kitchen for why you would want, say, a longer pole than maybe, you might ordinarily put. Like, for example, this is the trash cabinet, and the trash cans could end up becoming quite heavy when they're full. And pulling this, we didn't want this kind of the weakness of the front of this cabinet to be an issue if the pole wasn't big enough to really kind of, withstand pulling on the cabinet. Here we have this trim piece that's now filling in the gap that used to be there. The cabinets have to be shorter because the apron sink comes out and comes down a little farther. So that's the look we've got going on there. And if we come back here, we can take a look. So here's the door hopper on the back door from the breakfast. They haven't painted the door yet, but it's going to be black to match with the front door, which is a black iron. But you can see the tile that's beginning to go in the back patio. Once they're done with that, they can install the outdoor kitchen, which will have the cabinets and the sink, the grill, and the countertops and all of that. And then they'll also put up the backsplash on the wall, which I'm very excited about. It's going to be a very dramatic tile that's going to totally transform that space. Okay, so let's come and take a look at the mudroom where the shoe shelves have actually been installed. So that's looking a little bit more finished now. And then these are adjustable for height. So we can actually adjust where, we have more height for taller shoes like boots, and then less height for shorter shoes like flip-flops and tennis shoes where that height is not needed so much. Okay, let us come over. I'm going to show you along the way the trim, okay, that they've installed at the bottom of the baseboard. So ordinarily, if you don't have this trim, you'll see a gap between the wood floor where it meets the bottom of this vertical baseboard right there at that intersection. You can have it installed in a way where you wouldn't have that gap, but in this case, there is a gap, and therefore that extra trim, which is not completely finished yet, but they've just kind of put it on there, that closes that gap and makes it look nice. And they're painted it to, match the white paint. You can see the trim along the bottom of the island there. It's still white, which they're going to then paint black to make it blend in with this cabinet until you won't see it. So obviously when it first is installed, that's just what it looks like. In the powder room, we already have the toilets installed, as you can see, and also the gold plumbing fixtures. You can see this gold is a richer, a brighter gold. It's, definitely more gold than the gold we've seen in the other rooms with the gold plumbing fixture. So again, that's why it can look different. So, all right, let's wind up in the study in the front. And then I'm actually going to show you a view that I don't really think we've seen this before. Or definitely, if we have, it hasn't been in more than maybe like one video, the view looking out the front of the house. But here, the study doors have been installed again. They had taken these off for painting purposes. But yeah, they're here. They still have to remove all this film and stuff, obviously. But yeah, so if we come in, we can see the poles that have been installed now. On the built-ins here in the study. So it's looking a lot more finished. The poles really add that little extra like jewelry on the cabinets that make them look more finished. Not all the poles have been delivered yet, so we don't have them for every single cabinet. Like if you notice in the primary bath, there were no poles in there yet. Okay, another type of doorstop is one that we're gonna have if they haven't been installed yet for these front doors. These are iron doors, they're heavy, so you can't have some flimsy little doorstop where it might, break it. And also they wouldn't look so good at the front of the house to have doorstops sticking out of, the baseboard. So we're gonna have floor bumpers. So they're gonna be drilled into the wood floor right here. They're like 2 or 3 inches tall. There's different shapes, that basically a little nub like a mushroom, either like a rectangular prism shape or like a cylindrical shape. And so that's gonna be there. And door is so heavy. If we look out here, you can see the stone pediment from inside. They're going to be putting the stone on pretty soon. And so that's gonna just be fabulous, and it will, transform the look of the house from the outside. And so, yes, some various details still needing to be finished, but we're hoping for maybe a month from now-ish for the house to be done. So I thank you for watching, and I hope you'll tune in again for Smarter Real Estate Weekly on Wednesdays. Have a great week. I'm Julie Tam. Bye-bye.